everyone! This is Korith Landwalker, and tonight we have another exciting episode of Star Trek Online. Over the last few weeks, the character of Jadan, my Klingon recruit character, has been involved in what I like to think of as the first two of a trilogy of... What's the best way to put this? A trilogy of episodes that will change the direction of three interstellar governments forever. Well, at least as forever as anything goes in Star Trek. The first episode, and let's just go ahead and log in. I can take care of the administrivia while I go through this. The first episode involved the opening of the Iconian Gateway on New Romulus, which in turn wound up opening a bigger gateway here at the Quadrant system, or at least around the star, or somewhere in the area, which opened up to the Solanae Dyson Sphere, which is just inside the Delta Quadrant. And there was a little bit of an argument between Klingons, Romulans, and Starfleet. Hello, Romulan Republic Force! Kapla! I hope things are going well on your end of the monitor. In the second episode, which I did last week, we opened up another gateway inside the Dyson Sphere to the Jenolan Dyson Sphere, the one found on Star Trek Next Generation. And hey, Cap, hope things are going well with you too. And that kind of had a little bit of a spat between the Federation, the Empire, and the Republic. And now we're down to, okay, how are we going to deal with this mess? Now, what did he say? I don't speak Vulcan. No, that's not Vulcan. That is what you call a kind of a Cockney English. It's kind of hard to tell, though, because you can't really do the accent with typed words. Admiral Tuvok is calling for a summit, and hopefully, we can work this out. Or at the very least, we can, wipe out Starfleet in one fell swoop and conquer the entire Federation. The Romulans will probably cry about that. No offense. Hopefully the broken translator missed that part. So, the administrivia that I said I was going to do while I was going through all this and didn't. Continuing my work towards getting to level 10 engineering so I can get some standard updatability. And I still only have 2 research lab people, so I can only do 2 at a time. Sooner or later I'll have to grab some more. It hasn't really been a priority. Duty officer wise, well, that was a complete failure. Literally. Tell me I got at least some marauding missions I can work with. Not the best start, is it? Maybe buy some duty guys. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So sooner or later I might have to, get off my posterior and take a quick stop over at the academy there and grab some recruits. Or I suppose I could always, just look on the exchange. I'm sure I could probably buy some cheapo guys for like 4 or 5 energy credits. I delude myself a lot doing that. Okay, how about here? Okay, better. We have a number of marauding assignments here. And the reason that we're doing the marauding assignments is because, as memory serves, let's scroll down here and make sure I've got a couple more. Is because of this little toy, the Klingon Recruitment Encrypted Klingon Receiver. And somewhere around here, I believe it's here? No, here. Right, to get one of the rewards for Lead Warriors of the Empire, I need to get to Commendation Rank 4 in the Marauding Commendation category. I am not enthused by my odds. I'm still at level 1. It's not promising. But miracles can happen. I'm also tracking my Warrior's Blood chain here, where I'm trying to finally unlock the final form of the Bat'leth Stovokor. And I am still 96 away. I got absolutely no melee kills last week because everything was either space or things that flew around, and I can't exactly jump 50 feet in the air. I don't have a Romulan receiver. Well, you know, to be fair, I don't think there was ever a Romulan recruitment event. I don't think there was. There was Delta recruitment. There was Temporal recruitment. There was Gamma recruitment and Klingon recruitment, but I don't think there was ever Romulan recruitment. And the recruitment events were basically events that were introduced when certain expansions or big things were going on. In this case, for the Klingons, they had a couple months where they did the Klingon recruitment event, where if you make a character during that event, you would receive a receiver. For the other events, there was something similar that would have progress that would apply to both the character and, to a lesser extent, rewards that you can pick up on your other characters on your account. So, for example, this whole Bat'leth Stovokor thing, when I get this level unlocked here, it will enable me to pick up the Bat'leth Stovokor on any one of my characters. A recruit, I missed that. Yeah, I don't think they ever had a Romulan one because I don't really think they hadn't even come up with the idea of recruitment events until at least a year or so later. I would really have to dig through, say, the STO wiki to find out exactly when that first kicked off. I want to say it was the Delta recruitment, but I can't prove it. It's been a long time. Alright, I don't feel any need to burn my inventory stuff. I got enough slots here that I should be okay today. So, let us pick up the third mission of that little trilogy that it's not an official trilogy, I just think of it as a trilogy. Surface Tension. Time to blow the socks off. And we're not getting any actual voice dialogue from Tuvok here, so recent events have underscored the threat posed by the Undine. The native species of fluidic space, these aliens have infiltrated galactic powers, including the Federation, by using their shapeshifting and telepathic abilities. In an attempt to form a united front against the threat, I have called for a summit to discuss the means by which the various governments of the Alpha and Beta quadrants can detect and neutralize the Undine presence. The location for the talks will be the Jenolan Dyson Sphere. Control of this site is currently under dispute by the Federation, the Klingon Empire, and the Romulan Republic. However, I believe that access to the sphere should be a secondary concern to that of the threat of the Undine. Your experiences in the field may prove to provide a valuable perspective, as well as a moderating influence. Does Tuvok really know me that well? Because I am not a moderating influence. Fake Tuvok. Hey, what can I say? I can't really do the Tuvok voice all that well. Please attend as a representative of the Federation. Now, it indicates here that this is one of those missions that can only be done as a single player, so you can't really work with this with a group of people. This is all on you. We have the usual trifecta: experience points, expertise, dilithium, we get a set of 15 Undine marks that I can't use for another 7 levels. And one of the following. I can pick up a ground trait, which gives me resistance against toxics and potentially the ability to remove a toxic effect. Living Hull, which is a space trait, where hull regeneration is improved. Or one of 3 profession-specific kits, all of which seem to be related to... Okay. They're specific to your particular profession. Tim Russ refused to give his face or voice to Cryptic. That doesn't sound right. Yeah, I think you may be going on some wrong information there, Republic Force, because, I'm pretty sure they are, the voices. It's just that, you know, it's been God knows how many years since, you know, they actually filmed Voyager, and, well, people get older. I mean, let's take a look at Luke Skywalker from the original Star Wars series, and then Luke Skywalker in The Rise of in The Last Jedi. Big differences. And yes, Cap does not shock me with his comment about 7 or 9. And if it turns out that I hate all these rewards, I could always go with a standard tactical counter command console, which will give me improved phaser damage, bleh, improved disruptor damage, radiation damage, photon projectile damage. I'm thinking not. "2013, 2014 Star Trek Online Tuvok, his face, yeah, but where's his voice then?" Well, you know, stay tuned. That has less to do with not having his voice in here and more to do with the fact that, you know, bugs happen.
We are fighting a war on multiple fronts. We have to consider the Borg, the Undine, and the Romulans, as well as the Klingons. I see now my deception.
Yes, we have a nice little recap of Star Trek Online story. Well, a recap if you happen to be a Starfleet character. Bugs that won't be fixed in 2,000 years. My tolerance for bugs is pretty large. I play Star Citizen. I know all about bugs. Now, one of the amusing things here about this little cutscene here is that they locked in all the uniforms that were being used at that time. So the Starfleet uniforms were not the Odyssey variants that you see on all the characters now. They can't do that. Star Citizen trademarked bugs. And the only dead bug is a good bug. Only a dead bug is a good bug. There we go. Hey, we're doing our part.
Decide together what we must do to protect the Alpha Quadrant. Our disputes may need to be put aside in the face of a greater enemy.
I do love that nice touch there. And now the continuation, which is exactly how they did it, how they phrased it in Star Trek The Next Generation's two-parters. Starship Troopers, ew!
Welcome to the Delta Quadrant. I will admit that I did not expect to be here with Voyager again. It is agreeable. Thank you for agreeing to attend this conference and supporting my position on the Undine. However, reaching a consensus today will be difficult. Many different agendas...
My Klingon ship looks so tiny compared to some of these other ships.
Tuvok out.
Welcome to the Genolan Dyson Sphere. Please beam down to these coordinates.
I see they still haven't fixed the door. After the Undine well, blew a hole in it. And here we are, and it's Captain Corrin of the Bortisku, the flagship of the Klingon Empire.
It is good to see a fellow warrior of your stature. While I find the Federation's insistence on conferences and committees to be tiresome, at least we're here. We might be able to finally accomplish something. I expect this will be a boring affair punctuated by a great deal of posture. The sooner it is over with, the sooner we can return to defending the Empire.
I like her attitude. Jerry Ryan acted in Law and Order. Yeah, shocking though it may seem, a lot of the Trek actors and actresses have appeared elsewhere. In fact, we can be really topical. Patrick Stewart, for example, before he became known as Captain Picard, played Gurney Halleck in the first Dune movie, way back when, with the whole David Lynch film. How's that for topical with today's movies? Of course, that was probably a couple months ago now, but ooh, scannable item. Well, I'm not going to ignore something I'm literally walking right on top of. Don't be so impatient, Corrin. I know where I'm going. And we've got, Ambassador Satas. I've always liked having an ambassador who is literally half again my height. Same with Whoopi Goldberg, known from Sister Act. Oh yes, yes indeed. You'd be surprised where these actors and actresses have been.
I am gratified to see the Klingon Empire recognizes the importance of this conference. It is time that we reached an equitable position with regard to the threat posed by the Undine. I would recommend assisting your ambassador while we complete our final preparations. The talks will begin shortly.
Now, for folks who are really unfamiliar with the whole Star Trek Online story, the Klingon Empire and the United Federation of Planets are more or less at war, and it kind of got incited by the fact that the Undine started poking around, shape-shifting around, doing bad things, and did I know that STO has a 32-year-old Moral Paris? Yes, I did. In fact, she was in there a lot more until they hosed the Federation story arcs so that she doesn't appear for the first time until much further down the episode chain now. Yes, the Undine, otherwise known as Species 8472. Hey, they had to have a name sooner or later. In any event, the Klingons got paranoid about it. The Federation kind of thought that the Klingons were being overly paranoid. And, well, things deteriorated from there. A stream with no ping? What kind of dishonorable Batak would dare do such a thing? Hey there, Bull Moose. Hope things are going well with you. And Moral Paris is the daughter of Tom Paris and B'Elanna Torres. Yes. Let's see what Admiral Satas has. Sorry,
the Federation
Ambassador
is too
Satas.
busy with bureaucracy to begin promptly. How typical. Consider this an opportunity to see to the Empire's interests in this venue.
What kind of interests? Hey, you take that back from Ambassador Satas is a badass.
Talk to the other delegates and intimidate the other attendees in order to ensure they take the Klingon commitment to this war seriously.
Now this is Klingon diplomacy. Where's the hot cyborg chick? Hey, Alleged Eternal. Hope things are going well on your end of the monitor. I'm afraid that she is maybe... Actually, she might actually show up today, actually. Depends on how the mission today goes. And I regret that my ability to speak and read Klingon is virtually nil, which is one of the reasons why I don't use too much in the way of Klingon vocabulary here.
Take this opportunity
Because I
to
am
look
well
for
aware of
distinctive
my
devices
limitations.
and scan Janolan sphere technology.
Honestly, it's a miracle I can handle English. Asking me to handle other languages like Klingon, that's just asking a little much. Alright, let's see who to chat with. Well, let's talk to the Ferengi delegate. Oh, it's not a delegate, it's Grand Nagus Rom.
This conference could be an excellent opportunity for profit. If the Federation, the Klingons, and the Romulans can all agree on something, it could open the door to new trade agreements, shipping routes, and technology deals.
Yeah, well, we might, since we looking like new phase in the war is upcoming, we might have to, you know, be dealing only with warriors as opposed to traders like you guys. Not traitor, trader.
What's that supposed to mean exactly?
Well, you know, conflict happens if this fails, and if you're not going to fight for us, run. Talk is strange dude. I think it's a little less polite than strange dude. Scan the technology because, you know, who knows when we'll have this chance again. Let's see, if I were a delegate, where would I be hiding? Ooh, there's one over here. Oh, there's some technology over here too. Let's grab that first. Since when did Rom care about profit? Oh, he's looking out for the rest of his consortium? Confederation? What is the Ferengi government go by these days? I can't really remember. Either way, he does have a responsibility to his people, and, well, his people are Ferengi, and profit's their big thing, so he's got to look out for them, too. I doubt that he personally cares about the profit. Elam Garrick. Makes me think of a tailor.
I have to say, I'm quite surprised at how smoothly this conference is proceeding. We've all been here for some time, and not a single gunfight has broken out. How encouraging.
How depressing.
This conference may represent a new opportunity for the people of free quadrants.
Yeah, you know, you guys were kind of ground down to almost nothing. I mean, the Bajorans kind of kicked your butts in, and then the Dominion kind of nuked you. I guess Rom will take over Quark's when Quark dies. R.I.P. actor. Well, you know, well, for starters, it's hard to say when that's actually going to happen. I think it's Nog's actor who passed away, actually, now that I think about it.
An interesting opinion. And tell me, how was your quarrel with the Federation going? I don't seem to recall seeing the Imperial Klingon standard flying over the ruins of Starfleet Command the last time I visited Earth.
We're working on it.
It's true. Cardassia has suffered some reversals in the past. That said, the warrior who considers us defeated is a foolish warrior.
Point to you. Yeah, R.I.P. Nog. Yeah, it was Rob. It was Nog's actor. Yeah, Odo's actor went too. It's a sad truth that, you know, the actors aren't with us forever.
The preliminary tests are complete. You should speak with Admiral Tuvok again.
What? I don't get to intimidate any more ambassadors? Oh, come on! Odo is now the leader of the Dominion. Well, it's a little more complicated than that. And the details of that are still ahead of us. Well ahead of us. Okay,
The
Tuvok.
delegates have all arrived. The presentation will begin shortly. You have some time to familiarize yourself with the other ambassadors and their positions. I suggest that you do so.
Seriously, Tuvok? Seriously? Come on now. I'm a Klingon, not an usher. Grumble, 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 grumble. Ah, Datan, leader of the Romulan Republic. I should at least be polite to him.
Thank you for greeting me. I'm always pleased to meet with our allies in the Klingon Empire. I trust that the Republic will be able to take a leadership role in studying this sphere. The extensive knowledge we've gained from the Solanae sphere should give us an advantage here. And, after all, the gateway that leads to both of these spheres is in Republic space.
Yeah, too bad that the Undine are kind of knocking at the door on one of them.
Yes, the Undine. Very interesting. My security advisors have been looking over the data, and we are all very curious to hear what you and Admiral Tuvok have to say on the matter.
Yeah, we've got a podium out there that you can have your delegation at. Okay, let's see. Gotta speak to the Federation guys. Do I have to? Ambassador Sugihara. Something over and kick something over and demand blood wine. Spill something on something technical. Episode starts. I would play that episode. In fact, you know what? Let's see if we can encourage it. Here, we'll have my Targ with his Warnog wander around, offering Warnog to anybody who happens to be thirsty. I swear, this was one of the only reasons I did any of the winter event this year. I had to have the Warnog.
The Federation's position is quite clear. We believe
blood wine. I prefer Romulan ale. Oh, of course the Romulans would prefer Romulan ale, that weak drink.
To oppose those who would threaten our worlds. It doesn't matter if that threat comes from the Undine, the Borg, or the Iconians. The response is the same.
That was surprisingly brief. And, this is one of the only instances of running into the alien Xindi, who were very much a major part of the third season of Star Trek Enterprise. Romulan saying Romulan ale is so jarring once you notice it. It's like saying, nah bruh, I prefer human beer.
The Xindi are here to support Admiral Tuvok's call for cooperation. We know what
we gotta keep in mind that we're only dealing with the English language here on this chat. I don't know what they call Romulan ale in Romulan.
Remind us of the sphere builders, whose deceptions led us to make one of the greatest mistakes in our history. There are 5 races on my world. We all know reaching a consensus can be difficult, but the Xindi are living proof that if we put aside animosity, our differences can make us stronger.
Human beer isn't that bad. Beer is fine. Beetle snuff is better. When they had this character here come into this bit of dialogue, I was certain they were going to be getting ready to do some sort of Xindi arc. And they never did. So much for expectations. Kanar. Oh, that Cardassian drink. In the later episode, the blue beverage is identified as Califal. Is it? I could be wrong. Is that one of the things I can replicate? Because I could have sworn I'd seen that in game. Well, I'm not seeing it here, so maybe I'm mistaken. Or that I've become old and decrepit and can barely remember anything. Kanar with the Mar. Hey, that rhymes.
I can already see this will be a most tedious event. If you have any influence whatsoever with any of the other delegates, be sure to underscore the fact that the Klingon Empire will consider anyone who does not act against the shapeshifter threat as a co-belligerent.
I've always liked this ambassador.
You've spoken with representatives of all of the delegations. You should return to Admiral Tuvok.
Ironically, the first time I actually ran into that character isn't in the main episode chain anymore. I don't know why that they have these things appear here to walk on, and you just clip right through them. I'm sure it didn't used to be that way, but did I say something about bugs? An infamous blue alcoholic beverage with a powerful kick. The drink has been banned in the United Federation of Plants since before 2285. I don't think any line can beat the original Clone Wars line from Jar Jar. Me some more of a deep thinker.
We are almost ready to begin. Will you complete the final preparations for the conference while I speak to Captain Sean? After that, your assistance in encouraging everyone to take their seats would be appreciated. I must join the Federation delegation.
Oh my god, he is making me an usher. Where's my bat'leth? I want to hit him a few times with it. Seriously? Stupid bloody Starfleet. Stupid bloody Federation. I'd like to take my ship and just strafe the place. Alright. Sit down.
It seems the time has come at last. Thank you for the reminder.
Get to your seats. Get moving, get moving.
I was just going. Don't rush me.
Oh, guess what? I'm rushing you. Move it. It's plain stupid usher work. You know, this is what they have cadets and ensigns for, Tuvok.
Oh, yes, I will take my seat.
And one more over here. Clipping through those ramps again.
I suppose we can begin.
You can start
Finally.
the presentation from the control console.
Next time, Tuvok, get an ensign. Don't rush me. Klingon immediately stabs. If I could. And you have just started a Riemann character. Riemanns are cool.
The Undine represent a clear and present danger to not only the Federation, but also the Klingon Empire and Romulan Republic. The damage done here by a mere handful of ships is clear evidence that a need for
My
cooperation.
Warnog's in this
With
cutscene.
respect, Admiral, the Romulan Republic is quite capable of leading exploration and security measures here, just as we have led efforts to secure the Solanae sphere. My militia.
I find it interesting that the Federation suddenly has concerns about the Undine now. Where was the Federation when the Empire discovered Undine infiltrators in the Alpha Quadrant? Or is the Federation only interested now the Undine threatens something you want?
Given
You
the
tell him,
exceptionally
Stas.
complicated nature of such...
Ambassador, given what we now know, that was a mistake. The Empire recognized the Undine threat years ago. We didn't.
You admit
Whoa.
you are wrong.
Big admission from
The
Captain
evidence
Sean.
provided by Admiral Tuvok and his team is sound.
Finished
Thank
messing
you,
around
Captain
with the
Sean.
main setup and now you're
However,
bored.
dwelling on past mistakes
Nice to
will
see
not
some
solve
Tuvok
the
and
problems
Garrick
at
content
present.
though. I didn't know they added Garrick into
Our
the Dyson
fleet
sphere.
stands ready to protect both spheres from the Undine.
Yeah, they did a lot of reverse engineering for a number of these
more
episodes.
important business to discuss.
Oh god, it's a Ferengi.
Who owns this sphere? I represent a consortium of businessmen on Ferenginar. We are prepared
Found a
to
store that
invest
sells Romulan ale.
significant venture capital
Buy it
into
all while you can.
transforming this sphere into a vacation destination to rival Risa. I have a
You know, if I didn't know
proposal
better, I would think that was
of
Mandarin.
$500 million of
It's not, but you know, this is the kind of
What's
stunt
that?
I would expect Mandarin to do.
Tuvok to Voyager. Report.
A massive fleet of Undine vessels just appeared from a rift. They're setting a course for the gateway.
The Undine? What do they want?
I can make some educated guesses.
Unknown. Direct to Lisette. Track their course.
Enterprise to Captain Sean. We're receiving a distress signal from Earth's space dock.
Sean to Federation fleet. Red alert. Prepare for immediate departure.
The Federation is our enemy, but the Undine attack like assassins in the night.
That Ferengi's an 8472
We
spy.
will
No Ferengi
crush
should be
the
above
Comic
4 feet tall. Romulan tastes good, but you might get a hard
A
hangover.
significant Undine force is headed for the Sol system. Although our people are no longer allies, will you sit idly by while others fight against the Undine? They must be stopped.
Well, you know, Tuvok, I'm kind of two minds of this. On the one hand, as you say, we are no longer enemies. We're kind of at war with each other. Blowing up space dock has been one of my fondest dreams. On the other hand, this is an opportunity for glory and honor. Let's go! That's right, Undine. You better run. Because we're coming after you.
Species 8472 is already moored at Earth space dock. Once we are through the gateway, we must render assistance as soon as possible.
Bring back Tuvix. It's no fun if someone else blows it up first. Exactly! Exactly! If someone's going to blow up Earth space dock, by Kalis, it's going to be me!
I am picking up several distress calls from across the system. Curious. There are fewer Undine vessels than we witnessed using the gateway.
That is odd. It certainly can't be Starfleet blowing them up.
Negative. The subspace relay booster network appears to be offline.
Man, I remember that Tuvix episode.
Undine ships attacking Earth space dock, as well as attacks on the lunar colonies and the orbital habitat on the far side of Earth.
Then we're going to have to split up.
Agreed. Enterprise will clear the area around the lunar colonies.
Very well. We'll head towards Earth space dock. And you don't have to worry about any accidental photon torpedoes heading towards the hull. Oh God, Bull Moose, don't do that to me. Hopefully that's the Klingon warrior song, because I got no other idea. I'll run through a translator at some point. Tuvix, he who shall not be named. Now, he who shall not be named is a different genre entirely.
Fine. Jirok and I will clear the far side of the planet.
It's tough work, Corrin, but I know you can do it.
Enterprise will set course for Luna.
Now, I am flying a Klingon Katinga-class battlecruiser. Although technically it's the D7 legendary battlecruiser. I picked that up the moment it came out because I knew if I was going to buy a legendary pack of anything, it was going to be the D7. It has always been my personal favorite of the Klingon warships. So we have a whole heap of Undine fighting here. And we can assist the task force and get some backup here. Why'd I do that? Wow, Tuvok, I'm amazed you figured that one out. Why, a battlecruiser not a bird of prey? Seriously? The Kelvin timeline one is pretty hot. I don't think I've actually... Well, I don't have that one because it's a lockbox thing, and, well, I have psychological issues with lockboxes. Ooh, that looks like it hurts. We do not speak of that here. What can I say? I'm a very big fan of the design of the Klingon D7 battlecruiser. I mean, the Vorkshaw isn't bad, but the D7 has always got that soft place in my heart for its sheer intimidation value. I really think that the D7 got underrepresented in the movies. It was always the bird of prey, and it's like, oh, come on, man. Let's get some of the good old Katinga action out there. Just aesthetically. Don't know what the performance is, but visually it's sleek. Well, you know, it varies. This is the first time I've been using the Tier 6 battlecruiser here because, well, this is the first character I've had who's been able to make use. Well, let me rephrase that. I've got plenty of Klingon-aligned characters who could make use of it, but I'm pretty attached to the ships they're currently flying. But when the legendary pack came out, I knew that I was going to save it for this Klingon recruit. And I knew that would be the Klingon recruit who I streamed.
There are still Undine ships in the system. We must eliminate them.
Complain, 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 Tuvok. We'll try scanning that. That doesn't go out of range right away.
If we do not hurry, Earth's space dock may be destroyed.
Yeah, that'll buff right out. Now, making things more interesting, this is at the Klingon battlecruiser is actually available at Tier 2. I think it's a Tier 2. I think it's a Tier 2. But the downside of it being a Tier 2 ship is that, well, it's a Tier 2 ship. It's not really great for the upper end content. Yes, the Undine is species 8472. They were officially, well, as officially named as it gets in the game here, as the Undine. Probably because saying species 8472 all the time is cumbersome. Look at that wreckage. I'm jealous. A little space sandpaper, a little space bolts, some space bed, nobody will notice. Hey, where's those self-sealing stem bolts? I'm pretty sure those would come in handy right now.
Tethys Dreadnought, inbound.
Ah, a worthy adversary. I never had any doubt, Corin.
Lunar colony secure.
Yeah, but the Klingons got their stuff done first. I think a cat is doing silly stuff. Well, you know, that is what cats do. If they didn't do silly stuff, it would feel wrong. Oh, maybe I might have overestimated the amount of inventory I'd had for all these item drops. I'm gonna have to feed some of these things to the replicator. Let's go on approach. Decloak and fire. Take advantage of any bonus damage I can get from it. Like Yoda's relation with it. I thought Voyager left on good terms with 8472, like Yoda's relations with the Wookiees. Voyager kind of made peace with the Borg to destroy 8472. And you're absolutely right, both of you, except about maybe a few weeks ago, we found out that the Undine were being stirred up by the Iconians. And they were sending in fake Federation and Klingon and Romulan ships and basically blowing stuff up. So that kind of antagonized the Undine just a tad, and, well, they pushed back at who they thought were the people antagonizing them. Hence leading us to this mess. That's right, Space Dog boy. The Klingons are here, and... Wait, are you actually inviting us onto Space Dock? Are you seriously inviting us onto Earth Space Dock?
The Federation has no right to your assistance, but I am requesting it anyway. You have fought the Undine. They are enemies of the Empire. Do you want to let them win now?
Tuvok, I know what you're doing. I know how you're trying to be clever here, but I'm going to do it anyway just for the joy of killing things on Space Dock. They may not be Starfleeters, but, you know, it's still on Space Dock. We are the Borg. Existence, as you know it, is over. We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. Resistance is futile.
The boarding parties on Earth's space dock should be our main concern. The Undine will be attempting to cripple Starfleet operations, gain valuable data, and capture ranking officers. We cannot afford to allow them to succeed. I am prepared to beam down immediately. Your assistance will greatly improve our chances of success.
Alright. Oh, come on. You're not going to have me beam down with my bridge crew? Wouldn't more than one person be a smart thing to... Then again, I guess they'd probably be bothered by having multiple representatives of the Empire
Earth's space
here.
dock has sustained severe damage from multiple Undine boarding parties. We must locate Admiral Quinn.
Now, when you look around here,
to the Admiral's office
you may be
through
thinking,
those doors.
hey,
our mission objectives are clear.
this doesn't look a
We
thing
must ascertain
like
the whereabouts
Earth's
of
space
Admiral
dock.
Quinn and expel all Undine boarders.
And the truth is,
Teams from other ships have beamed
it
to
doesn't.
lower decks here on the station.
See, as
While
long
your
as
fleet's
he doesn't
willingness
invite
to
you to
assist
the new
the
Romulus,
Federation
it's fine
is
for me.
unexpected. Having Klingon warriors on our
Well, that'd be
side
pretty
will give
rude
us
of him
an
to do
advantage.
that, since he's not actually a member of the Republic, is he? Earth's space dock used to look like this. Well, except for, you know, the wreckage, the fires, the debris, and all that good stuff. This was the original design of Earth's space dock. Basically had the... Basically, take this quadrant and multiply it till it goes all the way around. That was Earth's space dock. But after this mission, after they released this mission, they revamped space dock into what it is today, which is substantially more impressive. But this is kind of the last gasp of the original space dock design. And actually, you know what? Actually, I'm telling a lie, because this was not the original space dock design either. The original space dock design was not the familiar spindle we saw. When I say original design, I'm talking the original Star Trek Online design, not the original design, because obviously Earth space dock was established in Star Trek 3. But then they had a new version of space dock, which came out with the release of Star Trek Online. The problem is, a lot of people didn't like it. So I think it was during the first anniversary, maybe the first or second anniversary, Q more or less came in and did his poof, and then we have the spindle back. And the interior was put into design like this, because there was a different design for the original Star Trek Online Earth space dock. And then, of course, after this mission, we still have the spindle, but now we have a whole new revamped interior of Earth space dock. How's that for crazy history? Okay, let's figure out what's wrong with the mess in here. Touristin, thank you for the follow. I hope you're enjoying the stream so far today. This is my Star Trek Online stream. I roll with it every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern. And I am kind of chronicling the character of Jadan, my Klingon recruitment warrior. It's money. People complain about stuff they don't pay, and Cryptic says, okay, we changed it because we want your money. Well, yeah.
What? Who? Admiral Tuvok. And... I don't think you're supposed to be here. What's happening?
You're hallucinating. You only think you're seeing a Klingon warrior standing over you. That's how Star Trek Online works. That's how every computer game in existence works. They want your money.
I don't... What?
The key is, will they earn the money, or will they try to be clever?
It wasn't supposed to be like this. Earth is supposed to be safe.
Yeah. Tuvok, he's out of his mind. Can we shoot him and put him out of his misery?
Indeed. I can initiate a mind meld. It will calm him, and I will be able to learn what he knows
game.
about the
I bet
attack.
you can't say it 10 times.
This is not normally something I would suggest, but I believe that in this instance it is necessary.
Now mine is Star Trek Online, but no major updates since 5 years. Well, as far as gameplay loops, yeah, you're probably right on that. I mean, they've had some warriors rolling through, but it just hasn't exactly had too much in the way of new mechanics. Greetings, fellow warrior. Tonight we eat well. Welcome to the waiting room of Stovokor. Oh god, don't even start with that, Cap. Is this Grethor? I'm confused. Well, I don't know, Earth Space Dock in Flames? This feels like Stovokor. Okay, do what you have to, Tuvok. In the meantime, I'll keep an eye and we'll keep an eye out for any Undine that happen to be wandering by. Ooh! Right from the ceiling. My god, it's xenomorphs. And hey, melee targets. Let's get some melee kills for my Bat'leth of Stovokor unlocks. Of course, it occurs to me that this guy is kind of beating the tar out of me. Maybe I should actually... Yeah, maybe I should have backed up a little bit on that one. Oops! Level 75, new story arc. Oh, they do have a new story rolling right now. They've got the... Oh, they're doing psionic damage. No wonder I'm having so much trouble. Yeah, this they started a new story arc back in November, and yeah, it's only one episode. They've been very slow in releasing anything. They had maybe 4 episodes last year. I'd have to do a count. But it wasn't a whole lot.
Thank you.
And yes, Cryptic did get bought out by Gearbox. Actually, it's not so much Cryptic as Perfect World Entertainment got bought out.
They've been killing people.
Which happens to include
I don't know
Cryptic.
what they want, but they've been systematic about their attacks. They want something.
Now, what that'll mean to Star Trek Online is still a mystery. I don't know if that means it's going to be seeing more development put into it. Don't know if that means they're going to go crazy with the lockbox frenzies or do something even crazier. Nobody knows yet. Nobody knows. We'll find out. Pull it together, Ensign! Wake up!
There is more going on.
Let me smack him around a few times with Bat'leth.
Phaser fire. There are more Starfleet officers fighting nearby.
Oh, good. I say it gets shut down soon because Gearbox doesn't like it. I would disagree because I think Gearbox likes money. Plus, what's the point of buying a company if you don't actually use the assets that you get for buying it?
Be cautious.
Star Trek's not likely to go anywhere because, you know, big license and it's doing reasonably well. Neverwinter is, as I understand it, is probably the most profitable of the Cryptic games at the moment. I don't have any numbers to support that, though, so I can't prove a thing. I'm completely ignorant on those things. And Champions Online, while it's hardly the best superhero game out there, obviously, it does have the advantage of being completely owned by the folks at Cryptic, so it's not like they're paying any license fees. It's funny that Rack starts on the same Federation training cruise as a Federation character, but he's still an ensign while you're a Galaxy Admiral or some crap like that. Yeah, as I understand it, he gets kind of traumatized in the Federation tutorial. Clearly he was not meant for deep space duty. Oh, looks like we have more guests coming in. Psy Master. Yeah, he sounds worrisome. Oh, he's dead. That works. We will see. Is Picard Season 2 streaming yet? I don't have Paramount Plus, but my understanding is that it has not yet started. But I could be wrong. Lord knows it wouldn't be the first time I've been wrong. Or it won't be the last either.
Admiral Tuvok, I'm gonna help hold this position. I'm not much of a soldier, but I can make repairs and help keep this area clear of Undine. I hope Admiral Quinn is okay. He was on comms a few minutes ago, but the transmission was cut off.
Very good, Ensign. Fight well. Die honorably. And I'm sure he's going, wait, what's that about dying? Did I just run a dead guy of his tea? Well, you know, Undine are people don't realize this, but Undine are very sophisticated beverage drinkers. They prefer to avoid coffee and go with tea instead. Let's see. Harvestable stuff, because, you know, I'm not going to ignore what's right in front of me. And let's see the damage here.
The damage is extensive, but we will rebuild. First, however, we must drive species A472 back to fluidic space.
Bit of a fixer-upper accolade. In fact, you know what? Oops. Sorry. Can't do that right away. Gotta deal with annoying Undine guy. Okay, where was I? Vulcan Spice Tea, huh? Why don't we just put that over here. Better that than have a miserable Toba steal my Raktajino. Second season of the series was in development for months before being officially announced in January 2020. I know they had a teaser for it, and it does involve a certain individual whose name can be expressed in a single letter. Now you know that tea? Glug 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 glug. Ah! I couldn't help that.
Admiral Quinn.
I don't imagine that the season of Picard will come out until they're done with the current season of Discovery, at least. Admiral Quinn. Do you know what the Chancellor would give me if I drove a bat'leth through your chest right now? The season is expected to premiere on the streaming service in February 2022 and consist of 10 episodes. Yeah, that's the timing sounds right. Things I do for intergalactic harmony. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Ah! That's not Quinn! It was an Undine shapeshifter! Dishonorable maggot! Oh, you don't get away from me that easily. Die, Undine scum! Kill Quinn! Kill him now! Hey, did you just get back up again? Get back down. I get knocked down. Oh, and there's another one. What part of go away did you Undine miss? And another one. Who else wants some? Oh, do you want to say something, Tuvok?
The Empire tried to warn us about the Undine, but it is clear now that the Federation had already been infiltrated. They convinced us to dismiss the threat. It was an error for which we will pay dearly. Admiral Quinn is not here. He may be alive elsewhere on the station. The logical course of action amid so much chaos would be to re-establish the chain of command.
Well, Admiral, it would be dishonorable for me to tell you we told you so. At least not directly.
Perhaps we can establish more reliable communications by directly linking to the Starbase's internal systems. The consoles here can be used for that purpose. Make the attempt. I will keep watch for more Undine.
Very well. Where is the internal communication systems? I'm sure I can figure this out. I mean, the Federation likes to make things easy, so...
Who is this? Communications are damaged.
One moment.
This This is Admiral Quinn.
Hi, Admiral. I just wanted to let you know that your security sucks.
Admiral, what is your status?
I couldn't help that.
I'm pinned down in my office with Egan. We've been trying to get internal comms and sensors working. What's your status?
Your officers are dying honorably.
The Undine boarding parties appear to have some goal in mind, but we are unsure as to what it might be. Admiral, I suggest you hold your position. We will make our way to you.
Yes.
Stay alert for more imposters.
So you're saying I should kill off any Starfleet officer who I even suspect of being an Undine. I'm liking this plan. Oh, an injured officer. Let's see if he turns into an Undine. Well, so far he's still human, so I get... Oh, and he's just beamed away, so I'm going to assume that means he's not an Undine. Alright. Let's see. Where's the nearest door? Crank, crank, crank. Oh, hey! And it's another Starfleet officer!
Ambush.
Good, that means there will be more for us to take out.
Undine on the station. I can feel their anger.
That's okay. I'm gonna give them something to feel too. Use my personal cloaking device to get close. Ah! I never get tired of seeing things disintegrate when I melee them. More force fields. Can't go that way. Can't go that way, but we do have a door I can open here. And my, aren't there a lot of them? Choices, choices. Stuck on the geometry there. Stupid consoles.
On the upper deck.
Focus on priorities, Tuvok. Worry about the ground floor right now. Here, have a grenade. That's right. Focus on anybody except me. That'll cost you later. Oh, still one there. So, you were saying something about going up. So far, so good.
Admiral Quinn and Commander Egan are below. The Admiral appears to require medical treatment.
Gosh, that's just too bad. Really.
It is agreeable to see you, Admiral.
Well, I'm sure he'd be more agreeable to all the Undine were down. We should probably make sure he's not an Undine. Let me cut off his head. Yeah, I didn't think they'd let me do that. I mean, there's only like 3, 4, 5, 6 Starfleet officers here and one of me. I'm a little outnumbered. I mean, I'm sure I could take them, but still. Looks like he's kind of still with it. Kind of. More or less. A little bit. Let's bring up some reinforcements, shall we? Well, if nothing else, I'm hoping I've gotten at least a few melee kills here today. It's hard to say because I've got all these Starfleet people kill-stealing my targets. Ah, more of them. Excellent. there they are. I was trying to figure out where they were. Let's see if Quinn's coherent at this point.
Thank you. Now maybe we should... Commander Egan.
What about Commander Egan?
Egg? Where are you going?
One moment, Admiral.
Intriguing. The amount of resistance Starfleet has offered is unexpected. That being said...
The weak live, perish. And you are weak.
Yep. Looks like Egan's a little tougher than we thought. Egan used to be a very prominent individual in the original space dock. I've got no idea if he's still around in the current one or not. If he's not, then this part of the scene looks completely out of place.
He is tapping into the bioship's power physics.
What does that mean in Klingonese? More importantly, how do we turn it off? Oh, can I hit him? No, guess not. Can I shoot him? No, okay. Oh, looks like he's back online. Okay. Now, where the heck is Tuvok? More importantly, where the heck is my... There we are. Couldn't recall... Oh, come on, man. I just bothered healing all that. Okay. No more Mr. Nice Guy. If the bat'leth isn't good enough for you, we'll just have to make use of other tools. Activate those shields. Where is he? There we go. Let's make use of some of those kits I'm carrying around. Oh, that's not good. No, that wasn't good at all. Klingonese, he got power! Kill power! You know, you may be right on that. And where's Tuvok? What's Tuvok doing all the way over there? Shoot him! Thank you! Gee, Merry Christmas is like he's just plowing through me. Could use a little bit better armor. Da, 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 da. Since I'm here, shields are only marginally better. Da, da, da. Find the better hypos. Okay. Tuvok ain't much for security anymore. He might have forgotten how to do anything. Yelling up, you may have a point there. You know what? I'm just going to let him pick on the guy for a bit. What can I say? I'm a Klingon warrior. I can't ignore him. But tell you what, as long as he's got his back to me and I get the flanking damage, is he healing himself? Oh, you do not get to heal yourself. And for the last little bit, we'll go for the melee kill. Why not? Yeah, Tuvok's probably been sitting behind a desk too long. That's probably his problem. Alright, Quinn. Want to talk about your guy who is an Undine right under your nose for heaven knows how long?
Egan was an Undine? That would explain what happened to our defense grid. He would have known they were coming, and had ample opportunity to sabotage us. Damn, I didn't see that coming.
Yes, well, Admiral, it would be dishonorable for me to say, we told you so. Oh, that does feel so good to say.
Egan. It's hard to believe. He attacked me mentally, led everyone into a trap. I couldn't stop him. We have much to consider. There may be... Tuvok! What's going on? Tuvok! Can you hear me? Tuvok!
And now...
Tuvok!
Where have we heard that voice before? Why, it's our good buddy Cooper.
Egan was too weird. He spent too much time among humans. He served his purpose, and you will be far too late.
Too late for what?
Your quadrant.
As an effect, thank you for the follow. Certainly glad you stopped in.
This dimension
been great chatting with you.
Purified of infestation. Your efforts are meaningless. I know your thoughts too far.
Indeed, Doctor. But I have taken advantage of this connection to look into your mind as well. I understand now what your plans are. You will not succeed.
You can't stop us.
That is the sound of an Undine being owned.
Admiral!
Diversion. This was all a diversion.
What do you mean?
Kronos. Their real target is Kronos.
What? Captain Corrin? Oh, I am not happy. I am not happy about this one
Kronos
bit.
will need every available ship. You helped defend the heart of the Federation. Now we must do the same for your empire.
Salah! Beam me up! Off to Kronos immediately! Like, before my molecules have finished reassembling. Get us going! Given the choice between Earth and Kronos,
We have arrived in the Kronos system.
It would have been an obvious choice.
The ruins of Praxis are concealing our arrival from the Undine. The Klingon homeworld defense fleet has engaged the bulk of the Undine forces, but they appear to be taking heavy casualties.
Starfleet sends one ship, and it's a broken down relic that belongs in a museum.
Ouch!
Obviously, we will get no help from Starfleet. Come! There will be glory enough for both of us.
Yes, there will be. It will be glorious.
Additional aid, as has Starfleet Command. The Enterprise is contacting all available ships and...
Meaningless words. Our warriors are ready to do battle here and now. We will not wait for the Federation to make a committee and take a vote on whether or not the Undine are a threat.
Captain Corn with the sick burns. Stations! It's time to make Undine die. Well, the first wave of the Undine went down pretty quickly, didn't they?
That was only a small force. The rest of the Undine fleet was not
That's right, Corin. Time to go. Oops.
The Romulan Republic has made commitments to its allies. We are here to honor them.
Oh, that's nice. We've got at least the Romulan Republic flagship is here. Which, to be fair, is more than can be said about the Federation flagship. Just saying. So far, so good. The Undine are definitely moving in force on our homeworld here. But the Klingons, we don't go down so easy. Has anyone ever told you, Tuvok, that you're a huge pessimist? Because honestly...
I calculate our current shift is 6.7%.
That wouldn't be the case if anyone else from Starfleet had bothered to show up.
You know, I'm thinking that Corin might be taking this a little personal. I'm just saying.
The tide may turn against us.
We are at a distinct
Be our
tactical
day of
disadvantage.
glory. Think of it as an increase in your opportunities to die with honor.
Gotta like Corin's attitude. Klingons does have this cheerful love of just throwing themselves in head first where angels fear tread. Oh, how about that? Enterprise shows up.
Not exactly. We brought a few friends.
Well, better. Not great, but better. Ah, this is General Jadan. I am taking command of the task group. Follow my lead. You know, if there's one thing that makes this one of my favorite episodes all by itself, it's that moment right there. Who's taking command? I'm taking command. There's no actual practical effect to it. But damn if it doesn't feel good. I know my inventory is getting full up by the second. You know what? I leveled up somewhere along the line and I completely missed it. Oh, it's a dreadnought. I've hit him a few times. I don't use my intelligence abilities here often enough. Mainly because I'm never 100% sure what they're doing. No, that kind of hurt. Where's my shields? And my engineering team. My whole hurt. But I'm feeling better now. Yeah, I just kind of want to point out that our shipyard, I'm pretty sure, is actually still intact. as compared to, say, Earth space dock. I'm just saying. That dreadnought's not going to last much longer. There's a lot of ships out here, a lot of blasters, a lot of energy weapons flying around. To the shipyard! Under cloak, of course. Fire everything! Front shields could use a little bit of help there. Oops, something just happened. Oh, this can't be good. Good gravy, what the hell is that?
What is that thing?
I know, right?
The Undine have brought a large craft through a quantum singularity.
They're powering up weapons.
We didn't need this shipyard anyway.
The Undine have a new planet killer.
Target that ship and fire all weapons.
Oh, carefully note.
No effect. They're too strong.
At no point in these cutscenes do you see the player character.
Voyager has one nanite torpedo remaining from her time in the Delta Quadrant.
Now, admittedly, some of that has
Such
to do with the
devices
fact that there's no
proved
way of
effective
knowing what
against the
bridge
Undine
that a
in the
character
past.
has,
Tactical.
apparently.
Fire when ready.
I would think it wouldn't be hard to figure out, but I didn't code the stuff, so I couldn't tell you.
They took some damage, but the planet killer can still fire.
Not sure what happened
I can
there.
get the Aquarius into firing position above her and exploit the opening in her shields, but someone will need to keep the Undine distracted.
The Aquarius is beginning its attack run.
Okay, now here we have a nice little run here where basically it's everyone for themselves. That's kind of a straight turkey shoot here. I can't maneuver, it's all straight ahead in the heart of the beast. I just shoot everything I see. I'm a little annoyed that I can't use my fire at will here. You note that almost all these drones are like one-shot kills right now, so... Oh, I wonder if this boldly going forward trait is involved. Out. Put those front shields back, please.
Weapons are offline. This is our only chance. Setting the Aquarius on a collision course.
Yes, because, you know, obviously the person to run a suicide run on a
Do we have Sean's
escort
coordinates?
destroyer
Getting locked down,
is your
sir.
captain. You realize that this is the reason why you have first officers. My little Klingon kicking the butt trying to fight off big, bad, ugly.
He did it, sir. The planet killer has been destroyed.
Tuvok to Allied fleet. Stand down. The Undine are retreating.
Captain Sean.
Transporter room. Did you get him?
We have...
Captain Sean to Admiral Tuvok. Permission to come aboard?
Gee, awfully dark in their transporter room. It's like the opposite of the caverns under New Romulus, where it was more along the lines of, "Oh my God, I'm going blind."
The High Council is signaling that they wish to speak with you directly. Are you prepared for transport to the first city?
Of course I am. I go down there on a regular basis. I mean, I'm a known general down there, you realize. I've spoken with the Chancellor and on any number of occasions. I even count Worf as an acquaintance. Friend would be pushing it. So, getting through the loading screen and... Armistice. This is the moment.
There are many here who have seen the danger Species 8472 presents with their own eyes for the first time. Thank you for your assistance in protecting both Earth and Kronos from the Undine. However, one thing I have learned from your empire is that battle can have benefits.
Oh, yes.
Today's fight opened the door to what may be a lasting peace between the Federation and your empire.
You know what? May have shot ourselves in the foot here.
Now we must have the courage to compromise for the greater good. In its way, that can be more difficult than waging war. The formalities will begin soon. Until then, I must take the time to speak to others who were instrumental in the success of this mission.
So you're saying that I'm not going to be able to blow up Starfleet ships anymore? I knew there would be a downside to all of this. Captain Sean.
That was a close one. But I'm fortunate Voyager transported me off the ship at the last second. Still, it would have been a good death.
Yes, it would have been. Remarkably honorable for a Starfleet captain. I'm rather surprised by it. Worf.
I served in Starfleet, and now I serve the Empire. There are many on both sides of the current conflict for whom I have deep respect. I see this as an opportunity. We may find we have more in common than we realize.
You're not helping my case here, Worf. Corin, you're still sane, right?
You have gained much honor and glory today. However, I now see Worf was correct. There is honor in the Federation as well. The time for our battle against Starfleet has passed. We should turn our blades toward the real enemy.
You're killing me here, Corin.
I remember you from the Gateway activation. You fought well today. May our meetings on the battlefield always be as glorious.
Right back at you. Titan. Well, actually, better yet. Cetas.
The Gorn have come to respect the Federation. We will abide by any decision the High Council makes. But I have advised the Chancellor that we support a permanent ceasefire. Undine infiltrators took my people to the brink of destruction. I will stand with anyone who opposes the Undine.
You're killing me here, Ambassador. Does no one want to blow up Starfleet anymore? Let's see. Political aid for House of Kalek.
I admit, I did not expect the Federation to act with such honor. I do not know what the final decision of the High Council will be, but rest assured,
that the Undine will pay. We will hunt down every last Kameku and destroy them for what they have done here today.
Well, you know what? After all of that, there's only one thing to do. Get stinking drunk. Chug! In fact, let's help things out here. Tap a keg in my warnog. Commander Duroc, you helped out.
Your homeworld is safe. I'm glad the Lisette was here to fight by your side. I just wish my father could see all of us working together toward a common goal. This is the future he dreamed of.
You fought with honor, Commander. I appreciate it. I need to get more drunk. Ah. The Chancellor wants to speak with me. Or I want to speak with him. Either way.
Kapla! I see now why you are known as one of the greatest warriors of our age.
Yeah, hear that? Chancellor? Greatest warriors? Thank you, Chancellor. It is an honor.
Many fine warriors have earned their places in Stovacor today. They died with honor, fighting one of our most formidable enemies. The Undine brought the battle to our very threshold. The fine warriors standing before me pushed them back. Let us honor our sacrifices and our accomplishments by ending...
Whoa. Who dares interrupt a Klingon speech?
So, you are the humans of the Milky Way. You have come further than we expected. But still you chase our shadows.
We are not here to impress you, demon! We stand united, and there is no one who can...
I think we just got some openings on the Klingon High Council.
We give you a single warning to not attract our attention again.
What was that? Besides the obvious of trouble.
That was the reason we need to work together. It's time for our feud to end.
Agreed. From this day forward, all hostilities between the Empire and the Federation will cease.
The Iconians use servitor races and other species to do their fighting for them. Species 8472 has been an unknowing catspaw of the Iconians for some time. This time, however, the Undine were defeated, and it was our combined strength that allowed us to prevail. Thousands of years ago, the Iconians were defeated by an alliance of races. I predict their ultimate aim has been to prevent such an alliance from happening again.
Well, it looks like they blew it.
There have been periods in our combined history when the Federation and the Empire have not been at war, but they have not been allies either. This may be the beginning of such a time. It will be up to us to determine what happens next. With time, we may even restore the alliance that came out of the Khitomer Accords.
Which leads us to our next steps.
Voyager will return to the Delta Quadrant. There is much to do there, and the Jenolan Sphere will need to be protected from further Undine assaults. I am sure I will see you again. You have been a worthy ally, and your wisdom and courage will be called upon in the days ahead. Until then, live long and prosper.
I can't remember the last time I was accused of wisdom. Until we meet again, Admiral. Salah, beam me up. And thus, Chancellor Limpok has this to say. Not since the Dominion War have we seen such valor. These events will resonate through history as one of the great battles of our time. You have not only saved the Klingon Empire, you have opened the eyes of the Federation. You have brought honor to yourself and your house, and revealed the honor of an enemy. No greater deeds may be recorded in the record of battle. Surely your deeds will be without number, for Stovokor is terrified of your coming. And when we finally bring the battle to the Iconians, they too shall tremble. Gotta love those Klingon motivationals. Okay, which brings us to the rather tricky question of rewards. And, you know, I'm not really sure how I want to go on this one. This frame helps my willpower, which is great for control resists. Damage against Undine. Kind of limited, though. Living hulls, well, I'll grab it. If nothing else, it gives me an option for later. Wow, I don't think I've ever seen so many dialogue boxes pop in and go away simultaneously. We are being hailed by the Chancellor.
Congratulations! You have proven yourself to be a strong warrior and invaluable to the Klingon Empire. You still have challenges ahead of you, but I am confident that you will be able to do anything you set out to do. Good luck!
And now my rank is officially Major General. I am the very model of a Major General. Thank you, Chancellor. And I have a new potential bridge officer. Nausicaan could be interesting. Ooh. Is this a science? I might go with a Gorn. I might have to replace my current Gorn doctor with a new Gorn doctor. Yeah, I think I will. But we're not going to have him join immediately, because I can take care of getting that set up offline. I did level up, so that means I can grab some skills. And I've got 2 points, because I think I actually leveled up twice during that mission. So we'll grab the improved readiness for engineering and scientific readiness for science stuff, because anything that allows me to get my bridge officer abilities kicking faster, that's something I approve of. That also allows me to choose either a faster transwarp ability or faster sector space. I'm going to go with faster sector space because honestly, I can transwarp pretty much anywhere I want pretty easily thanks to the way they've done the missions these days, so who cares? We're going to continue kit efficiency, and we will choose between Overwatch and Stealth. We're going to go with Overwatch, and maybe someday I might even train somebody in that. It could happen. And all my traits got reset. Okay, well, let's work this out. Now that they've wiped out all of my freaking traits and I have to go basically from scratch trying to remember what I had in there in the first place. Okay, melee damage, obviously. We'll take pistol for now, since my backup weapon is a pistol. Kit performance and kit readiness are always winners. Let's see. 2 more to work with. let's go with critical hit and exposed chance increase, and stealth and exploit damage. And that should hopefully be a nice combo. Hopefully. Moving on to the space traits. Accurate. Accuracy is always good. Beam weapons. Hull. These are important things to have. We'll grab the living hull because, you know, why not? I just picked that up. Why not use it? Bonus to crit chance and severity. Maximum shield hit points. And crank up the flight and impulse speed, because being able to improve my flight helps my turn rate, and turn rate is always a big deal. These are probably not what you would call the most optimal choices I could make, but I'm pretty well known for not grabbing optimal choices. Incidentally, I've been advancing my Starship Mastery, and I've gotten my second one up somewhere along the line, which increases my critical severity as it is. So, I've got my resistances from the first one, my severity for the second. Number 3, which I'm working towards, will give me some energy resistance. Eventually I'll get 4, which will increase my hit points. And 5, which will give me the Built to Last ability. And then, if I sneak my way over to 7, Shall We Not Revenge? Which should be very interesting. We'll see how well that works out when the time comes. That's obviously getting just a little bit ahead of ourselves. I see I have some missions done, so let's get those wrapped while I'm here. And still no marauding here. Grumble, grumble, grumble. And no marauding that doesn't take up all my energy credits. What do I have? But I do have a Lethian bridge officer applicant, so we'll evaluate that fellow. And then we'll open up communications and see where we're at. I believe we have wrapped up the Solanae Dyson arc. So next, the next arc on the list is the Delta Quadrant, introduced in the Delta Rising expansion. And this is where that Delta recruitment thing came into play I was mentioning earlier. So let's hail them and figure out our next step. It's Sub-Commander Cole, the guy with the perfect villain voice. And I'm hurt that we're deprived of it right now. The activation of the gateway at the heart of the Solanae Dyson Sphere has given us access to another Dyson Sphere, originally found near the Genolan system, that is now located deep in the Delta Quadrant. The Romulan Republic, the Federation, and the Klingon Empire have put aside their differences in order to unite against common enemies. But they need skilled captains and crews willing to join the fight. Travel through the gateway and contact Delta Command once you reach the Genolan Dyson Sphere in the Delta Quadrant. And we get the Rapper mission XP and expertise. So we will enter the Delta Quadrant. Well, I see they've kind of fixed up the doorway, which kind of impresses me since it's a freaking huge doorway. Incoming hail from Voyager, sir.
Welcome to the Genolan Dyson Sphere. The situation in the Delta Quadrant is continuing to develop. We will need the assistance of all our allies to stay ahead of it.
Well, I'm here. We'll see what we can do now. Romulan's in my way. Beam to Delta Quadrant Command. Now, intriguingly, Delta Quadrant Command has a somewhat familiar look to it. If it looks like the Solanae Dyson Sphere, well, you know, it's the same manufacturers. Got to expect similarities. Over there you got a commodity vendor. We got the standard doors here. And just like the Solanae sphere, this sphere is kind of designed to be kind of like a hub. So we'll just do a quick run around here. Over here, for example, we've got shipyard access stuff, where you can customize or change up your ship or any of that other stuff there. Buy ship equipment. Over at the far end over here, we've got the terminals that have mail, bank, and exchange access. And you know what? Since I'm here, and since I'm thinking about it, let's see if I can find a cheap research lab. 35,000. Ow. Okay, that's a little more pricey than I didn't think they'd be going for quite that much. Yeah, no. Moving along to the other side here, we have one of the most important vendors out here. Yes, it's a tailor. Also, we have away team equipment. So, you know, if you need to buy some extra equipment, you can do so here. You can also probably sell off equipment here, too. Well, I'd get rid of some of this junk I'm carrying. I can get rid of at least the white quality stuff without thinking about it. Just burn through this stuff. I'll probably be sorry about some of this later, but I'll keep the food. Ooh, well, I don't know. I don't think I can get rid of that one. I might actually be able to use that one on this ship. In fact, why don't we look now? Yeah, this is a Mark 10, so that's going to give me 13% against 8%. Bye. So now I can sell that. Oh, look, I have ramen and ale. Since that was a subject of conversation earlier, I just couldn't help but point that out. Oh, it's another directed energy manifold. I get rid of the level 4 one. What am I using in that engineering? Yeah, I don't need that. We have a Mark 8, which gives me plus 15, and a Mark 9 that gives me plus 12. Yeah, I guess we're not going to be keeping that one after all. All I can say is it looked more impressive at the time. And Singularity Core. Yeah, that'll come in real handy for a Klingon ship. Alright, I think that's about all I can conveniently sell sight unseen for now. Other stuff I might want to look in the exchange at some point and determine whether or not I want to sell them off for hopefully more than I can get from just vendoring them. Vendoring will give me half price, half their value. If I'm lucky, I can do a little bit better elsewhere. Oh yeah, and then we have the center. And here we have an interesting trio of individuals, all of whom are aligned with a different faction, but you know, they have similar dress sense. Well, two of them have similar dress sense. And then we've got Starfleet Boy over there. We're going to talk to Galera here. Welcome to the Delta Quadrant. And who exactly are you? I suppose you would say I'm one of Kamen's orphans. Ah, we've worked with Kamen before. My father is Klingon. My mother is from Bajor. It was an explosive relationship, and it didn't last long. I spent my childhood on transport ships, traveling between two worlds and belonging in neither of them. All I wanted was to disappear. I tried archaeology, thinking the past would be a good place to lose myself. Then I joined a colony expedition. That ended because of the war. Then I became a volunteer in the refugee camps, and then a writer. It was useless. That's when Kamen found me. He gave me a purpose. More importantly, he gave me something to belong to. We're all outsiders in Klingon intelligence. If we were warriors, we'd be on a warship. But that doesn't mean the work we do isn't meaningful. This is the Delta Quadrant, General. We're all outsiders here. Now, who are your associates here? Let's talk to Commander Burgess.
I don't want to waste your time with trivialities.
Now see, he has a voice.
Return at a later time.
So who are you?
Commander Ethan Burgess, at your service. I was raised in London, and I didn't give much thought to a career in service until the Breen attack on Earth during the Dominion War. My eyes were open that day. If we weren't safe on Earth, the most protected world in the Federation, we weren't safe anywhere. I joined Starfleet soon after. I was recruited out of the Academy for Starfleet Intelligence, and I've spent my entire career at SI. Wouldn't have it any other way. The Delta Quadrant became a bit of a pet project of mine over the years. I spent hours analyzing Voyager's logs and mission reports and learning all I could about this area of space. There's so much here we need to understand. The Hoth, the Undine, the Borg, and they're just the tip of the spear. Now that Starfleet is back here, I want to be at the forefront of learning all we can about the Quadrant and its dangers.
Oh, he certainly sounds like the right man for the job here. Then we have Commander Mena. I'm watching a dozen situations as they develop, but I don't have anything specific for you at this time. Who are you? You can call me Mena. Normally I like to stay in the shadows, General, but what's going on here is important enough that I think I need to see it for myself. I've been in the intelligence game a long time. I was Tal Shiar back before the destruction of the homeworld, back when that meant something. We weren't just Sila's thugs. We were doing the work needed to keep an empire running. Yeah, you keep telling yourself that. I didn't fit in with the new regime after we lost Romulus. I knew Hakeem was playing a bigger game, and I tried to call him on it. Then he pulled some strings and got me sent away. I've heard the rumors. I know that some people think my time in deep cover affected my mind. And it did, but not in the way that they think. Getting away from Hakeem and Sela gave me time to think, to see what we were doing was wrong. So I left, and I've been with Datan ever since. Datan is a great man, but he's a man of peace. There are certain situations that he's not equipped to deal with. I handle those, and I'll do whatever it takes to protect the Romulan people. Now, we do have a couple other things on this map, but they're basically related to engineering and the infirmary, and that relates to damage that you can get from wounds or critical damage on your ship that only happens if you, say, for example, have a higher difficulty. But since we're pretty much doing this on normal, because I would have my butt kicked on the higher difficulty levels, it is what it is. Now, here's a little bit of a fun fact about the Delta Rising episodes. The Delta Rising episodes were designed to get somebody from level 50 to level 60. But Delta Rising was, how can I put it gently? They had one hell of a curve for how much XP you needed to get to a level. And Delta Rising was kind of intentionally designed to not give you the experience points to get to those levels easily. So people would basically do their best to grind away on the easiest missions that gave the highest XP return. And that's probably one of the reasons why you had that meme for a while there, where there was a quote from one of the cryptic folks saying, "The players Delta Rising is the best expansion ever, and the players love it," or something like that. And that got memed to death big time. But the reason I wanted to mention that detail is because here we are in the missions that were designed for level 50 to 60, and I'm at level 45. Luckily, thanks to the way they rebalance everything as they go along, this arc has been rebalanced, and they fixed up the experience curve a long time ago. So the issues we had with it back then are not the issues we have now. And we will kick off the arc in earnest next week. We are coming up on the 10 o'clock hour, and I'm pretty sure that it'll take me a little longer than 4 minutes to wrap up the next mission. So that'll be it for tonight. I hope you will join me again next week. More Star Trek Online, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern to approximately 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. If you enjoyed my stream and want to see me do a different game, I stream Star Citizen on Saturday afternoons. That takes place at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern to approximately 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern. I would like to thank you all for watching, whether you watch this live or you're catching it video on demand, either here on Twitch or on YouTube. I greatly appreciated everybody stopping by and chatting this evening, and it was great to have you all online. Hope to see you again next time. Until then, this is Korath Landwalker, signing off.